The Earth is facing a rare mineral crisis. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. Florian Heiser here, and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. I have my stein of coffee, and I thought we'd talk about a crisis that the Earth is facing. One that can affect all of us, one that everyone needs to take seriously. Definitely. Because we are potentially running out of rare earth minerals. Only this was a concern a decade ago, in 2010. Now, before we go into this article, I want to remind everyone of what happened in Melbourne, where we had the Extinction Rebellion protesters, who happened to get a lot of their funding from government grants, protesting on the streets of Melbourne and cities around the world, lying down on the ground like hysterical nutbags and cultists, concerned that we only have 12 years before we reach inflection point, the point of no return, where we won't be able to do anything about the climate. Okay? Now, my argument is that humans are a very adaptive and smart species in general, with notable exceptions, who are able to adapt and overcome any obstacle put before us, so long as it's slow moving and we have enough time. We're not talking about Pompeii here. We're talking about something that could happen over decades. And frankly, I think a lot of what we are concerned about is going to be obsolete, or our feeble attempts to address these issues are just going to be laughed at by future generations. So let's have a look at this article. And this is from Human Progress. It was shared by Jordan Peterson. So I thought I'd go through it and we'd just have a bit of a look. So on April 10, a team of 21 Japanese scientists discovered a 16 million ton patch of mineral-rich deep-sea mud near Minami Tori Island, which lies 790 miles off the coast of Japan. The patch appears to contain a wealth of rare earth elements, including 780 years worth of yttrium, 620 years worth of europium, 420 years worth of terbium, 730 years worth of dysprosium. Can you tell why I did chemistry at high school, but I didn't go on with it. This find, the scientists concluded, has the potential to supply these materials on a semi-infinite basis to the world. So if you're not familiar with rare earth minerals, let's have a look at some of them here. Now, these are just some pictures. I searched for rare earth minerals: neodymium, lanthanum, yttrium, scandium, dysprosium. I'm not even going to try. Curcium, cerium, europium. So here you go. We've got all these different types of minerals. They all look very boring, really silver and dull, but they are really important. They are used in a lot of things. Even electronic devices that we all have. What are some examples? I picked two just out of random, honestly, that looked a bit interesting. Neodymium. Neodymium is a chemical element with the symbol Nd and atomic number 60. Neodymium belongs to the lanthanide series and is a rare earth element. It is hard, slightly metallic silver metal that quickly tarnishes in air and moisture. So there's the symbol, there's the electronic configuration. It was discovered in 1885, by the way, and the atomic number is 60. So remember, this isn't a science channel, guys, but I want to just share this with someone because, frankly, it's cool. Neodymium, and these are the applications. I got this from Wiki. Neodymium has unusually large specific heat capacity at liquid helium temperatures, so is used in cryocoolers. Probably because of similarities to Ca2+ and Nd3+, has been reported to promote plant growth. Rare earth element compounds are frequently used in China as fertilizer. Well, China was originally one of the biggest suppliers of it, and we're going to read it in this article. Samarium neodymium dating is used for determining the age relationships of rocks and meteorites. Neodymium isotopes recorded in marine sediments are used to reconstruct changes in past ocean circulation. And here is a neodymium magnet on a mu metal bracket from a hard drive. So there you go. How many of you are using hard drives? Probably an old-fashioned hard drive, but I can't tell you. But it just shows you the uses of this rare earth mineral. Here is another one. Erbium, a chemical element. Erbium is a chemical element with the symbol Er, the atomic number 68. A silver-white solid metal, when artificially isolated, naturally erbium is always found in chemical combinations with other elements. And what is it used for? Erbium's everyday uses are varied. It is commonly used as a photographic filter, and because of its resilience, it is useful as a metallurgical additive. Other uses: used in nuclear technology, in neutron-absorbing control rods. Well, there you go. That's important. That's useful. There's some colored glass. When added to vanadium as an alloy, erbium lowers hardness and improves workability. Just if you have the time or inclination, do some study into a lot of these elements, just with regards to how the alloys are created. It's quite impressive. Erbium oxide has a pink color and is sometimes used as a colorant for glass, cubic zirconium, and porcelain. The glass is often used in sunglasses and cheap jewelry. So there you go. I mean, these are just two examples of these rare earth elements. And remember, we were in a crisis. We were in a crisis because China had so much of it. And let's continue with this article. The happy discovery provides us with an opportunity to revisit the last crisis over the availability of natural resources and recall the ingenious ways in which humanity tackled that particular problem. In September 2010, a Chinese fishing trawler and a Japanese Coast Guard vessel collided in waters disputed by the two countries. The Japanese detained the captain of the Chinese vessel, and China responded by halting all shipments of rare earths to China. The latter used the imported metals in a number of high-tech industries, including production of magnets and Toyota Priuses. Oh no, all those San Francisco soy sipping. Sorry, I've got a Camry hybrid. I shouldn't pay them out, but I can't help it. South Park's ruined Priuses for me. At the time of the embargo, China accounted for 97% of rare earth production and a large part of the processing business. Predictably, global panic ensued. Okay, so I know everyone isn't a fan of having tariffs or embargoes to protect industries, but maybe this is an argument for it. Maybe. If you have countries that don't have the same human rights, that are enslaving portions of their population, maybe you need to charge them more, to maybe encourage them to improve their human rights, or to ensure that your own products can be comparable. Just the statement there. Do you want to put a moral position on your products and imports? It's something to consider. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. In the United States, which uses the rare elements in its defense systems, wind turbines, and electric cars. Wind turbines, there you go. The greater and the good rang the alarm bells. Written in New York Times, the Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman opinioned. You really have to wonder why nobody raised an alarm while this was happening, if only on national security grounds. But policymakers simply stood by as the US rare earth industry shut down. The resource was a monopoly position exceeding the wildest dreams of Middle Eastern oil field tyrants. Coupled the rare earth story with China's behavior on other fronts, the state subsidies that helped the firm gain key contracts, the pressure on foreign companies to move production to China, and above all, the exchange rate policy. And what you have is a portrait of a rogue economic superpower unwilling to play by the rules. And the question is, what the rest of us are going to do about it. The US Congress convened a hearing on China's monopoly on rare earths, implications for US and foreign security policy, with Ronald Manzula declaring China's actions against Japan fundamentally transformed the rare earth market for the worse. As a result, manufacturers can no longer expect a steady supply of these elements, and the pricing uncertainty created by this action threatens tens of thousands of American jobs. Republican Brenda Sherman, no, that's not representative. DA from California, argued the Chinese control of rare earth elements gives them one more argument as to why we should kowtow to China, while a report by the Government Accountability Office warned rebuilding a US rare earth supply chain may take up to 15 years. So what really happened? And this is where it gets interesting. In 2014, Council on Foreign Relations report Eugene Goes, an associate professor of public affairs at the University of Texas at Austin, revisited the crisis and found the Chinese embargo proved to be a bit of a dud. Some Chinese exporters got around the embargo by using legal loopholes, such as selling rare earths after combining them with other alloys. You gotta love the free hand of the market. It'll find a way even in communist China. Others smuggled the elements out of China outright, Some companies were fined to make their products using smaller amounts of the elements, while others remembered that they did not need the high performance or specialized rare earths. They were merely using them because, at least until 2010, they were relatively inexpensive and convenient. Remember, rare doesn't mean expensive. Third companies around the world started raising money for new mining projects, ramping up the existing plant capacities and accelerating plans to recycle rare earths. So we have what is considered a crisis in rare earths. We're not going to have access to these materials because China cut off the access to it. And how do people respond? How do businesses respond? They work around it. They find solutions. They adapt. Okay, this is a socialist, communist country enforcing their will, restricting, and people get around it. People work. The market adapts. The market finds a solution. So why is everyone calling for a global solution? I saw a clip from Q&A where they were asking Jordan Peterson if sometimes a global catastrophe like this should take precedent over individual responsibility. Essentially a fascist argument they were putting forward on Q&A, and it was insane that they're discussing things like that. This is how crazy people are getting. So the market response then diffused the immediate crisis when prices with rare earth, which spiked in 2011, came down again. Bugger, you'd hate to have bought here hoping it would go up again. You should have, bought here and then sold here and shorted here and waited for it to drop. You'd have made a fortune. Hindsight. In the long run, as the Minmay Tory find suggests, further supply of rare earth seems promising. The broader lesson from Rare Earth's episode is this: human beings are intelligent animals who innovate their way out of shortages, real and imagined. We have done so many times before. In some cases, we've relied on greater efficiencies. An aluminium can, for example, weighed once 3 ounces in 1959, today weighs less than half an ounce. In other cases, we've replaced hard-to-come-by resources with those that are more plentiful. Instead of killing whales for lamp oil, for instance, we burn coal, oil, and gas. Finally, we've got better at identifying natural resource deposits. Thus, contrary to centuries of predictions, Malthus was wrong, our known resources of fossil fuels are higher than ever. As such, there's no prior reason why human ingenuity and market incentives should not be able to handle further shortages as well. And this was written by Martin Chupi. Yes, and I think it's a fantastic article. And I think it really shows you how humanity can deal with these type of issues and can adapt. So, this is how I see all of these things. This is why I'm not worried about human impact on the climate. In the slightest, it does not keep me up at night. It doesn't concern me with my children. I'm more worried about the Greens imposing taxation on meat, and that will reduce our access to good food stuff, particularly everything I've learned about the food pyramid and government food data. I'm more imposed with socialism that's coming. Or I'm really concerned as well with our education system that's treating boys like defective girls, or the shocking number of male suicides or attempted suicides that are happening in Australia. There's a lot of problems we have now that are serious. Concerned about the environment, lying down on the street like a spoilt child, because you're worried, isn't one of them. Isn't something we need to be worried about. Anyway, guys, I hope you've learned something from this and found it interesting. Please like, share, and subscribe. Ding the bell to see my daily updates. And if you'd like to join in the conversation, #HeiserSays. And I will see you again, probably tonight. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.